It was like a fantastic shift, something like close to magic.
So yes, everybody is talking about agents right now.
I have a question like more philosophical.
You have 4 weeks without trying an AI tool, then you're so behind. I mean, that's how fast things are moving.
Top 10 tools from Christian.
It's insane that we're still using a tool like that. These are the main blockers that people are talking about, and here's a plan of attack to solve them.
And how it helps these free users better convert in paid users for you.
And what does that mean? Like, what is a visual storytelling platform, right? You moved away from that reference point.
It can be like motivating part, and guys usually, okay, we will win. Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Anton Voroniuk, and I'm happy to have you in GenAI Revolution podcast. Today we have a special guest. There are a lot of AI tools in the world, but few of them make me wow. And Gamma is definitely one of these tools. We were happy to bring the first Gamma course to Udemy, and it's still #1 in the topic. Right now we are creating a course about Gamma on Coursera, and I'm happy to present you the person who is leading the marketing in Gamma, Christine. Hi, Christine. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Thanks for those kind words.
Christine, I'm really excited to have you here, and let's start from the short introduction. What is Gamma? Can you present Gamma as marketing in digits?
Yeah, simply put, so Gamma is your alternative to PowerPoint for the AI age. PowerPoint was invented nearly 40 years ago. It's insane that we're still using a tool like that. And so we have 70 million users. There's 1 million Gammas that are created every single day. And so we're really proud that we're able to hopefully make work a little bit more pleasant than it used to be.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it was like a fantastic shift, something like close to magic when I tried Gamma first time. Right now, you're still pushing new features. You've started Gamma 3.0. Can you tell a little bit more about this agentic approach, how you transform Gamma like in your AI designer, your AI helper? So can you tell a little bit more about this?
Yes, absolutely. So as you mentioned recently, we did launch Gamma 3.0. There's 3 core features to Gamma 3.0 that's worth talking about. One is our agent, as you mentioned. The second is our API.
Can you tell a little bit more about agent? Because everyone is talking about agents, but what are your agents?
I have a soft spot for our API, so we have to get to that later. So yes, everybody is talking about agents right now. It is a word that means a lot of things in the AI space at the moment. But what it is indicating towards a future in which AI can do tasks and automate tasks that you were doing manually before. And so we have a really ambitious roadmap for our agent in the future. But what our agent does today is it helps be your design partner. So it can make whole deck edits. So let's say you have a presentation for McDonald's at 11 a.m. and at noon, you've got a presentation for Wendy's. What a roster for your sales team. You can ask Gamma's agent to redo your entire deck. And so it's going to redo the design. It's going to redo the content. You can pull in citations. So basically through chat, through voice, you can make edits to your deck. Another feature that I really like using on Agent, I think is underutilized at the moment, is asking for feedback on your deck. So one of the things that I always got lost in when I was making presentations before is you make your presentation, you get really deep into it, you overthink it, and then you can't view it as an external audience. So you can ask agent, hey, I have to present this to my CEO. I'm presenting this to a client. I'm presenting this to a prospect. Give me some feedback. How should I redo this? And then you can ask for feedback. It'll give you some points and then ask, do you want me to make those changes for you? And then you can say yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't know even about this feature that you can ask feedback, so I definitely will try it. If you talk about API, can you go deep in this story?
Yeah, so I think agent and API are connected, right? They're connected in the story of automation. And so we are building Gamma to be an open system, not walled garden, right? So I think AI gets really powerful when you can connect your tools. And so as other tools are building out AI features, being able to chain tools together is really effective. So one of my favorite use cases for the API is taking AI note takers. I personally use Granola. We also use Fireflies. We have all the AI note takers. And
I have heard about Granola just from Akiva. Akiva was speaking on AI Marketing Day, and he also mentioned Granola.
All right, I'm a big Granola fan. It's my favorite, but there's many pros and cons to all of the note takers out there. And so typically, what you do after you have a meeting is you send a follow-up. If you're meeting with internal folks or external folks, right? So that was always the bane of my existence before, was recapping from a meeting. So what you can do with Gamma is you can connect your AI note taker, could be a transcript, could be the summary, and then automatically using a no-code tool if you're not technical with Zapier or Make or N8N, push that right to Gamma, automatically get a beautiful visual deck. So humans are visual people. Getting walls of text, right, is not the best way to process information. So that's one of my favorite use cases. You get this amazing deck, so you can impress your client. Imagine 5 minutes after a call, right? They just get a deck. Here's a recap of what we talked about. Do you agree with that? Next steps. I mean, you look like you have your act together if you can do things like that. There's obviously much more robust use cases for the API as well, too. We just released a prompt guide on our site. So if you go to gamma.app/prompts, or if we could put this in the show notes.
It's like a prompt Bible or what it is.
Yeah, so we have 100 prompts on that page. It's based on research for prompting Gamma from what we've seen, but we also have several API workflows on there too. And so there's some pretty simple ones like the one I mentioned, and then you can do some really sophisticated ones, for example, tying together with N8N using Synthesia, using 11 Labs, get a voiceover avatar on your presentation. Let's say you're doing a ton of, demo videos. So lots of examples for using the API. And so I think that's one of the most exciting things about working in the space is everybody's adding features, right? You can combine that. You've got good AI tools left and right. You put it all together, great results for automation.
It sounds really great. I definitely understand the agentic workflow. We use not N8N, we use Manos for it. And you've told one about overdubbing, so we use Agent to take your deck and make it alive. So it's really amazing. If we talk about marketing use cases, you're a marketer, I'm a marketer. Not all our audience are marketers, but definitely from marketers, I regularly hear a lot of good words about you. So in average, you can save from 3 to 5 hours per average marketer who is doing decks, a lot of decks. So what are the most popular marketing use cases of using Gamma?
Yes. So I think preparing marketers and sales folks tend to, depending on your company, present a lot externally if you're dealing with external clients, particularly in the B2B space. So that's one of the most popular use cases we see is preparing decks for external facing audiences. One of the other use cases is, internal meetings, right? So at Gamma, what we do is we obviously we dog food. Well, I don't know if that's a really American term, but we use our product all the time. So we use it for all of our meetings, for meeting recaps, and also for sharing externally as well too. So
I definitely feel it when we were preparing with Mark's first Udemy course. So when he was speaking, I felt each moment of this. So it's definitely true. I can approve it.
Yes. I find it to be, it's quite fun to play around with Gamma, right? To create something that's beautiful. Typically most marketers, you want to take pride in how your product visually appears. And so lots of different use cases. We do have some marketers who use it to quickly spin up a bunch of different landing pages, microsites to test things out for personalization. So lots of folks that kind of tie together tools like ChatGPT and Claude in order to create personalized decks, personalized websites, personalized landing pages for their clients.
Yeah, definitely. If we talk about broad topic, our podcast is not just about Gamma, but I love it. Definitely, what are the most AI game-changing tools or game-changing features you can name as head of marketing? So what do you see really changed during these last 12 months, 1 year in marketing, and how AI is shifting the marketing?
Okay, so if I can back it up a little bit high level, thinking about my career before the GenAI revolution and after, it has changed a lot about how I think about structuring a marketing team, how I think about who I hire for, and how I think about what marketing is working right now. So as far as structuring a marketing team, what I used to do is you would have point solutions for channels. So you could think through, okay, I need somebody for SEO. I need somebody for performance marketing. I keep hitting this microphone. Sorry for the audio feedback. I did it again. Sorry for the audio feedback. Okay. So you would think about, channels. You would think about SEO, you think about performance marketing, and you hire somebody events, et cetera. So very much slotting people into specific tasks. It is so hard to plan right now exactly what your tactics are going to be. And so now the way that I think about how I'm doing coverage on a marketing team is across what I'll call zones. So I think about zones of brand, growth, and product. So brand is, how are you representing yourself in the world? What do people think about you as a company? Growth, how are you getting your message across? How are you getting awareness? Product, what are you communicating? What exactly are you saying about your product as well too? And so I think that every company needs to have coverage across all of those areas, but you'll typically see spikes, right? There's some companies that spike really highly on brand, and some that have really, really strong growth cycles, some that are really, really good at product marketing. I think Gamma had a lot of strength in brand. When I started, I wanted to bring in some more depth in like growth and product, right? We need some more coverage. So when I was thinking about what our priorities hires are and who we needed to bring in, I'm thinking about how I can put people into zones, because our tactics and our channels are going to change all the time. But those are the core 3 things that I think you need foundationally to get right if you're going to be successful and competitive. And so you need to think about people that can flex, right? And not necessarily be channel specialists. Which brings me to my second point, which is about what I look for in marketers. So I identify as a generalist. That didn't used to always be what a lot of companies were looking for. And now I think with AI, we are seeing the rise of the generalist for a very important reason. But when you'll see a lot of thought leaders talk about generalists, and it just seems like somebody who can do everything. I think there's actually 2 very specific type of generalists that you need in the AI age. So what I talk about is the tastemaker and the engineer. So the tastemaker is your artisan. They have this refined sense of human taste, this intuition for what is going to work and resonate that you simply cannot replicate with AI right now. And then your engineer is the person who is your problem solver, the systems connector. They are tying together all your AI tools. They're figuring out how to scale. So you're not just creating one beautiful presentation, you're creating 1,000, in an hour. And you need both of those people. I think it's really rare to find somebody who spikes in both of those. Those unicorns do exist. And if you find them, you should hire them. But typically, I'm looking for someone who spikes in one or the other, and then looking for the balance across team. So I think our marketing team at Gamma personally is really strong because we have some people who are very, very strong tastemakers and very, very strong engineers. And so I think every team, honestly, across Gamma looks like that as well too. And
AI works like amplifier for both of them.
Right, and AI is an amplifier for both of them. So our creative director, I would consider her to be a peak tastemaker, but she's using Midjourney, she's using Kling, like she's using all the AI tools. And then our growth marketing lead, I would consider him to be more of the engineer, and he is, vibe coding, he's doing deep data analysis with AI tools as well too. So that is what really creates a powerhouse team. And then the third thing is, what's working in marketing right now. I used to index very heavily on digital marketing, very trackable things. I went deep in SEO, performance marketing. I love numbers, love spreadsheets, love being able to see direct returns, measure ROI. You can dial this variable up. And that is very much out the window now. And it's not just because of AI, it's just because the channels we've been using have gotten noisier, right? So it's harder to reach people on Google search.
Is going like this.
Yeah. It's harder to reach people in Google search. Paid social has gotten more expensive. There haven't been any new breakthrough channels of opportunity for marketers yet, although watch out for ChatGPT ads. I think that once that comes, everybody's going to jump on it for sure.
Definitely everyone will try them.
And so, there is this thought of what do you do? How do you reach people, right? So that's always the most important part of a marketer's job, is understanding where people are, where their attention is going, and how do you reach them? So you'll see a lot of AI.
What are the main top 5 channels for Gamma?
You'll see a lot of AI companies really index on community, on creators, on experiential marketing right now. And I think part of that has to do with what people are paying attention to. You have to read the room, but it also has a lot to do with AI. I think it's interesting, and paradoxically, a lot of the top AI startups that I know of, or the ones that people have probably heard of, they're really indexing a lot on very human activities. And so there's something about in this AI age, wanting to have authentic human experiences, know you're hearing from a real person. So Gamma does a lot of creator marketing, formerly known as influencer marketing, sometimes used interchangeably, but we should elevate. They're not just influencing, they're creating really, really powerful content. So we do a lot of creator marketing, and we do a lot of community-led events as well too. So, and that's also important for education, right? Yeah. We have to remember, I live in San Francisco. It is such an AI bubble. That is not how most of the world looks right now in AI adoption. And so education is really important, and actually taking the time to sit down with people and work through the tools is important as well too. So it pays dividends, right? Because then that fuels word of mouth. So we think about how both creators and community fuel word of mouth growth loops, right? So we have creators. These are people that real human beings that we work with, that have influence, that have audiences that people want to respect and learn from. And then, we think about the community events that we like running, where you're also, right, you're learning to use the tool. The more people that know how to use Gamma really well, they teach other people, and they showcase Gammas in the world, and that helps influence our viral loop.
We're really happy to teach you about Gamma.
Yes, thank you for being one of them.
I have a question, more philosophical. You have 70 million clients, correct?
70 million users.
Yeah, 70 million users. On the other hand, you are beating PowerPoint. PowerPoint, I think, 1 billion.
We gotta keep that startup energy, right? Gotta be hungry.
How we can estimate the number? You are talking that you are living in AI bubble in SF. Maybe I'm also living in this bubble. But after talking with a lot of people, my clients, after you, I will record with pharmaceutical company, another bank, etc. I've got insight that maybe we are still at the period when AI is on the early adopter stage, and the conservative majority is still not in.
Yes.
And the most of the use cases will be born when it will be happen. Are you agree or disagree? We are on which stage of early adopters, or we already working with the conservative majority of users?
Yeah, so if I think we're thinking about the adoption curve, and you have early adopters and then early majority, late majority, I think my estimate is we're on that line between early adopters and early majority. Okay. And part of that, is driven by a lot of the enthusiasm and excitement. Yeah, sure. I think we're seeing from businesses and enterprise. However, would love to talk a little bit more about what we're hearing from businesses that sit outside the AI space, because their feedback, I think, is very important, and it is really illuminating to hear where they feel they're at and where they feel like they're struggling and where they're seeing maybe some initial enthusiasm for AI tools not exactly pan out in their organizations and what they're hoping for.
Yeah. You are building right now AI first team inside Gamma. You are pretty lean. How many people do you have in the team?
We have 52 people total.
52.
Yeah. On the whole Gamma team, we have 7 folks on marketing.
I've met Max 1.5 years ago when you was 18 or 20. Yes. So you're still pretty lean. How do you build this AI first company, AI first team? Can you share your secret sauce?
So I started with the Gamma team earlier this year. I came from a 2,000 person company that I thought was very tech forward. And then there is definitely, I think, an advantage to a company that has grown up in the past couple of years, and that you don't have the baggage of all the operational processes and the tool stacks that you were using before. So there's a few things that I think makes an AI native company. One, of course, is the foundation of everybody is super curious about using AI tools, right? There's a ton of new models, ton of new tools coming out every single day. So if you're not spending time actually being engaged and tinkering and figuring out what works, you have to actually spend the time, right? Anybody who posts something online and says, oh, here's something I just did in 5 minutes with this tool, is overlooking or not talking about the hours that they spent, testing and trying different tools to nail down that workflow. And so that's just the nature of AI right now. You have to spend time. And so everybody on the team, fundamentally, we look for really, really, truly genuine interest, people who are spending their own time trying out AI tools, because it involves a lot of tinkering. The other thing is, being able to have the flexibility to try new tools, right? So I mentioned that if you are a newer company, you don't have the legacy of a CRM, you need to migrate, right? And so I actually find that to be really liberating, and we're in a fortunate position that we can think about, okay, what are all these new AI alternatives that are coming out, and should we try them, and should we build on them? Of course, that's something that we'll have to kind of keep up as we go. We have to expect that tools are going to change, right? And so migration fears will certainly be something we need to, we need to preempt. But if you were a company before the AI age, you didn't really think about that. And we're going to use this tool for a very, very long time. So we have to think about how we future-proof and constantly bring new tools into our system. And the other thing that we have some rituals at Gamma that I really enjoy. One of them is show and tell that we have every Friday. So everybody across the entire company is showcasing AI tools and AI workflows that they use. So I learned by osmosis, right? Getting to pick ideas from our design team, our AI engineering team, our backend engineers, our growth team, right? So maybe they have a bit of a different use case that they're solving for, but I can think about how I can get ideas from that for our marketing team. So every single week, we're getting exposed to different types of AI tools and AI workflows. And typically, people also build things for use across the entire company. So anytime that someone on the engineering team is building a data analyst buddy, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to use it, right?
Yeah,
like that's,
sure.
I'm a very poor writer of SQL queries. And so everybody's building tools for us to use internally all the time. And so that compounds over time. I mean, you ask about like secret sauce. I think honestly, it's the compounding impact of every single day. People are playing with AI tools, and every single week they are teaching others how to use AI tools. And if that's not happening in your organization, if you go 4 weeks without trying an AI tool, then you're so behind. I mean, that's how fast things are moving.
It's definitely true. I'm teaching basic AI, but at the same time, I'm learning from such guys like you, Akiva, Max. What AI tools are you using daily personally? Personally, for job, like top 10 tools from Christian.
Yeah. Oh, top 10. Honestly, I spend a lot of time with ChatGPT and Claude and obviously Gamma.
Yeah.
And I use AI note takers. I don't tend to use, there's a lot of specialized AI tools, and I do tend to use them, but I chain them together using Zapier or Make in AI workflows. And so then you're creating kind of this from a bunch of different sources, the output that you're looking for. But ChatGPT and Claude, both of those, those are the most common things people probably use, and they're the most common things I use as well too. And the reason that they are getting even better, and I'm using them even more than other tools, is because they're getting really good at building context and memory. So it's exactly the growth loop they're probably looking for here. The more that I invest, right, the more that those become useful for me. So I build Claude projects, I build Claude skills. And so all of those things are then, taking in context that I have fed into it and creating better output. And so then I tend to use them more and more. So I've been watching these companies grow. They're obviously partners of ours, model providers of ours. And as a marketer and as a growth person, this is genius because I am using them more and more than I ever used before. So rather than trying to go to some other types of tools, I think that those core experiences are just getting better and better with context. Love Claude connectors. I have Claude connected to our Slack, and so one thing that I have done recently that I thought was interesting out of the box use case was try to psychoanalyze our biggest problems on go-to-market. And so we have a specific Slack channel that is for B2B for our go-to-market team to discuss. And so I asked Claude to take a look at all our conversations and figure out what our biggest blockers were. Yeah. And so if you can imagine, trying to compress everybody saying, oh, this prospect wants this, or how are we solving for this, or what's the answer to this data question? And then, you have days and days and days of just long conversations going on. And then to be able to get a list of being like, these are the main blockers that people are talking about, and here's a plan of attack to solve them. I mean, it's amazing to have those as thought partners.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I was smiling when you told about that Claude and ChatGPT learns a lot of context, because when I'm doing corporate trainings on AI and the group is like tired, I tell them, guys, ask ChatGPT about your future. And it's all about jokes that ChatGPT is yes man, it's always agrees, etc. You've mentioned about Slack and about blockers. So ChatGPT gets all your blockers that you discussed with him, and he tells you how in future you will fight them, how you will win, etc. So it can be like motivating part, and guys usually, okay, we will win. Yeah. Let's go, let's proceed. You've mentioned that you love data. Let's come back to the data that you are gathering for your customers inside Gamma. So each deck has its own analytics. Can you share about what metrics we can get from the Gamma analytics data, how your customers use it, what are the main use cases, what are the main workflows? Can you tell a little bit more about Gamma analytics?
Yeah, so with Gamma Analytics, you can see all the analytics that you can see as a Gamma user are very much designed to be the types of analytics that you would want from a presentation or a website. So you can see views, you can see engagement on your cards. And by the way, that was a feature that we had before we even added AI tools. So it comes from what were people wanting if they're doing a presentation, and what do you want to understand about what people are looking at and what they're paying attention to. And so being able to see how many people are viewing your content, and then also where are they spending the most time.
Yeah.
These are types of things that you could maybe often get with website tools, right? You could do like heat mapping or something, see where people are spending time. It's actually very useful for presentations as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about brand. So the guy who I will record after you, he's from big pharmaceutical company, a lot of compliance, a lot of restrictions, etc. And the question that he was asking me just 2 days ago. So, okay, you're recording a podcast with Gamma. How is going on with brand? So what do you already done for like big corporate enterprise who wants all shifts, all logos, all colors, everything must be in brand identity, and what do you plan to add?
Yeah, so this is a super timely question because we just launched our teams and business plans recently for Gamma. So on the business plan, you have a lot more advanced controls that businesses are wanting.
Yeah.
And this has come from the inbound requests we've had from small companies, but also Fortune 100 companies and what they're looking for in all the conversations we've had with them this year. So it's a really timely question because that is probably one of the most common things that we talk about is how do you get, proper brand control within Gamma. So the first thing that I would say here is if you know AI, LLMs are non-deterministic, right? Yeah. It is very difficult to repeat results, right? So even just a basic ChatGPT user will know if you ask ChatGPT a question and then ask it again, you will get a different answer. So we have to do a lot of prompting and fine tuning for controls around the 20 plus models that we bring into Gamma in order to get some more consistency. And we have some fine tuning that you can choose, right? Do you want to preserve your text or do you want to condense your text? And this has come from from user feedback about what they want to see. So we do have workspace for businesses. We do have workspace templates and controls. You can get your theme in there. You can get your logos. You can get your brand guidelines. One of the new features that I'm really excited about that's coming out soon is a feature that will allow you to remix these. So you have workspace templates that you would use. Let's say you have your your standard internal meeting, your standard sales pitch deck, etc. So you can start with those as templates within Gamma, and then you can use our AI tools to remix those for different purposes. So we're finding the right balance between being able to achieve consistency and also being able to leverage what is the power of AI right now, which is to actually create content and visuals that are bespoke to your audience and use case, right? So if I think about working at a large corporation, most large corporations, you have this 300-page template slide deck. And if you really think about where did that come from? Why does it exist? It exists because it was the best option that people had at the time for brand control, right? And so over time, maybe it becomes this Frankenstein monster of all the types of slides that people will create. And who really enjoys having to force their content into that? And just like, oh, every single time I need to do, a summary slide at the end of the deck. And it is really important, right? I mean, it's really important for brands to be consistent. If you have specific guidelines around what you can say and not say, it is important to be able to be able to follow those things. But I think it comes from a place of that was the best that we had for brand control before is the template deck. And so when companies talk to us and they say, okay, can you get like our template deck in Gamma? I think being able to actually unpack that and see what's underlying it, I think is that need for a brand. It's consistency and compliance. You want people to be able to represent your company well internally and externally. And that is a legacy method that was the best that we had before was this template deck. But I think what, if I was leading a large company, what I really want is for people to be on brand and compliant and take care of all of those check boxes, but also communicate really well and think about what their audience is. And so what Gamma is really good at is being able to help you think about your audience. And so you can shape it, the exact size of the deck that you need, the content, the audience. I mentioned before how you can chat with Agent, give me feedback on this, right? And so as long as we have those like brand controls around that, then you're actually creating an even better output, right? Because how many of us have seen bad decks that came out of a template deck? They're forced into a particular format, and it's not actually the best way to communicate what you're trying to communicate. So these are things that we are continuing to iterate on ruthlessly every single week, shipping new features, because it is a work in progress to be able to control the AI and find that right balance between what we think is really the promise of using an AI tool with Gamma, but also making sure that we're listening to the needs of businesses and really, really understanding what they're looking for with brand controls.
Great. If you talk about the new feature of the image editing, I have different types of students and clients. Some of them like B2B and when corporate, okay, we need to make our presentation faster, smarter, etc. We will pay, and they have the paid subscription. They have premium models, etc. And we have like a lot of B2C students on Udemy, on other marketplaces, our own courses. And if we talk about regular customer, he's not subscribing from scratch. And when he starts using Gamma in free version, he has like more cheaper image models and more hallucinations, more bugs, etc. And from these students, I'm regularly hear the feedback that, oh, these eyes, these 7 fingers, this text, etc. How this feature can game change this part. And I, as like premium Gamma users, I definitely understand the difference between models, and that when you have premium model like Flux, Contents Pro, etc., you have amazing photos. You need you don't need to edit something. Maybe with text you need somewhere like Leonardo Phoenix to get the better text. How do you see like the future of this feature? What are the use cases, and how it helps these free users better convert in paid users for you?
Yeah, well, I think one thing is Gamma is honestly a very affordable way to get access to a lot of image models.
Good models, yeah.
So we have over 20 image models in the product. We have all of the hot ones that you mentioned, Ideogram, Flux Context. We have GPT image. So, and it does vary depending on the level of the plan, which I think you're alluding to there. And that's because they're expensive. Image models are expensive to run, so they carry real costs for the business. And so it is kind of finding the balance. If you have needs for higher visual needs within Gamma, you can access pretty incredible models on our Plus, Pro, and Business and Ultra plans. Our Business and Ultra plans are designed for those folks that really, really want to get very high quality models. I mean, the image rendering is amazing on the models that we have on those plans. And so I think I think that you should be picking the plan that works the best for you as far as what your image needs are. But we do see that Gamma is a way for people to really catch that image editing and image generation bug for sure, because you have so many different models to play with. That was actually a decision we made early on, was for image creation in Gamma. Will we make choices on what models to use, or will we give people some flexibility to choose different models there? I'm not sure that there's one right answer to that, because as you mentioned, some people really know what the difference between the models are and some people don't. But we do give people the flexibility to be able to be choosing models. And then for image editing, we do try to choose the best model that is the best model for the job when you're getting more advanced with that.
What models do you use for the image editing?
Well, it changes all the time.
But right now,
one thing that I did want to say on this point of image generation, there is something about AI image generation that has captured the imagination of folks for AI like never before. So I believe earlier this year when ChatGPT launched 4.0, their image model, I think that their users skyrocketed because of that. It wasn't initial ChatGPT 3 or 4. It was the image model, because people were, oh, Studio Ghibli images is so fun, right? So when you talked before about the early adopter to the early majority, the more mainstream, there's something there about visual AI and AI you can see that really captures folks. And so, of course, we have GPT image in our product, but the most recent, more viral model is Gemini, Nano Banana as the popular term. It's great at editing. We test all models when they go into our product. So any new model that comes out, we're testing, and some of them are not great for use cases like in Gamma. Just because it's a newer model doesn't necessarily mean that they're better, and some are. So we are using Nano Banana for a lot of image editing right now. And as soon as the models come out, we roll them out internally to our Gamma team. So we see it in our Gamma instance as well too, and can give that qualitative feedback like, oh, is this actually good or not? So it's not across the board, and we always have to leave flexibility to be able to swap in new models, of course. So every single week, every single month, we're trying new models and we're figuring out whatever is the best for the job. And we collect user feedback. Did we do a good job here? Did we not do a good job here? And we use that to inform what models we're using. But Nano Banana, that was a big win recently for improving image editing. Yeah,
definitely Google has a good database to educate the models, so definitely it works. One more philosophical question about the last kilometer in AI. It's always like in delivery, the last kilometer is the hardest. So the same from the prompt to polishing, you can create I can say 8 from 10 deck for 10 minutes. And after that, spend 2 hours or 3 hours polishing it. So what are your life hack of making Gamma results better? So we have prompting. You've mentioned that you have prompt library. You've mentioned for the brand, you will give like grounding options when you can grab templates for different use cases. For the guys who are like idealistic, they want 10 from 10 presentation and fast for 10 minutes. What are the best recommendations of using Gamma?
Yeah, so I do think it's, as you said, it's all in like the background and the prep work you do. I think this is true across AI tools, right?
It's all AI tools.
And so you have to actually put in the foundation. If you want really top-notch results, Gamma is designed to get you a good result much faster, period, across the board than you ever would if you were just starting with a blank slide on Google Slides, right? You're going from something to, if you're using Google Slides or PowerPoint, you're going from a completely blank page to needing to like manually type in every pixel and every word. So at least if you do start with Gamma's generator, you are getting some stuff to react to, right? And to edit. And so if you typed in like, make me a deck about fish, right? You're going to get a deck about fish, but that's not a lot of context. And so as you mentioned, good prompting is very important. And so that's something we're really focusing on as we build our own internal Gamma Academy, is how do you create kind of a library of prompts that people can pull on that's going to get a better result. And if you're a user of Gamma, you know, the more context that you give for what you want to create or the outline, the better starting result that you're going to get as well too. The same thing as you mentioned, by doing the work to be able to get your brand in there, your themes, get it set up exactly what you look like, then that first draft is going to be that much more better. But this is something that a lot of people don't have patience for. I mean, I find myself, people get lazy. I do this all the time with like ChatGPT. You just type in just like a basic prompt and you're okay, well, that's not the answer like that I wanted. And you got to put in the work, right? To, you know, here's all like the context, here's the context, you know, build out your Claude projects, build out your like Claude skills so that the context is already always there, so that when you go to the tool, then you can utilize it. But that's probably the best, you know, advice I have. You know, I mean, one, it's getting so much better that you can tie together things with our API right now. So, I mean, you can immediately kind of tie together ChatGPT or Claude right into Gamma. Prior to our API, what a lot of people would do is write their prompts in Gamma, you know, create their prompts in ChatGPT, create me an amazing outline for a deck, and then you just copy and paste into Gamma. You're going to start with a baseline, you know, draft that's going to be that much higher. So that's my best advice. Is it is in the background right now, but with the agent feature as well too, that's becoming a much more powerful editing partner as well too. So let's say you said, make me a deck about fish, and it's going to do its best job, make you a deck about fish, but you're like, then just ask agent, okay, actually this is a lesson about fish for my second grade classroom, or, you know, it's a lesson about fish, or this is a website about like saving the fish, I don't know, whatever. And then, you know, we have the agent feature to do those types of editings if you were a little lazy on your prompting on the first go.
From my side, I'm happy that we are teaching the same stuff. We usually say that this principle, make machine talk to machine, when ChatGPT or Claude prepares the prompt for Gamma. So the typical use case in our corporate trainings, etc., is to create my GPT or Claude project or Gemini Gems or Prompt Bot. So you have like prompt master, which helps you to structure information for the deck. So you prepare this my GPT, it gives you a prepared prompt, and after that you copy paste it to Gamma, and it makes it happier. Usually it's prompt for like few pages, and definitely one human will write it. People are lazy, you are totally right, and that's like a big insight. Let's come back to the API and agents. We've already mentioned them. What other workflows do you see? So how you can automate this regular presentation routine with your API?
Yes. So I mentioned before, I do think that, you know, note takers from call to presentation is a really good use case. Other good use cases that, you know, maybe a little more relevant to marketers and sales teams that I really love. You can connect, you know, your CRM. So HubSpot to Gamma. So one of my favorite ones that's in our prompt guide right now is if you move a deal to closed won in HubSpot, they can get an automated, personalized onboarding deck welcoming them within minutes. so that you can connect to your email, automatically send it. And so really being able to do a lot of personalization. I mean, there's many ways in which you can take that. At this point in time, I don't think we should be doing anything that's generic for everybody, because you have so many options to be able to create personalized content. Events, for example. So let's say you run an event on Partiful or some other type of event invite tool. You collect a bunch of information on dietary needs, topics they want to ask about. Imagine if instead of just getting a regular confirmation, they're getting this like beautiful visually designed deck that's on your brand. It hypes them up about the event. It tells them, we'll definitely have your vegetarian meal available. You can do that with Gamma as well too. So, connecting that, your event list, like spreadsheet, personalized deck or one page or a website or landing page. I mean, Gamma does more than just presentations. We do websites, documents, social media. So it's a pretty flexible platform. So there's so many ways in which to create, to just connect raw inputs, spreadsheets of data. Clay, for example, I mean, Clay is a pretty hot tool. One of my favorite tools. I didn't mention when we were going through my top 10 there that I never really got to 10 for. But personalized information that you have from Clay, connect that to Gamma, again, get that visual output there. So there's a lot of ways for Gamma to be in the middle of the workflow, but the way that I'm seeing most people use it is that last mile. It's been that missing piece, right? For society, humans that really process information visually to create this great visual output. I should also mention with the API, we have businesses that are looking to integrate it as their visualization layer within their product as well too. So if you have a lot of text to communicate and you want to actually communicate it in a more visual way, use a lot of charts and diagrams, then you can integrate Gamma directly as your bespoke visualization layer in your platform as well.
As marketer, I definitely hear when the brand want to be like the name. Google it, Gamma it. So to make a Gamma, to send me a Gamma, etc.
Yes.
How are you building this top of mind? What is the strategy of building Gamma brand for future?
Yeah, so category creation is something that I think about all the time, and it's hard and it's an ongoing process, right? Yeah. So just to kind of give you an inside look into how I talk internally with the team at marketing, there's actually different altitudes for how we talk about Gamma. And so AI tools are all new, they're all changing, right? These are things people aren't familiar with before. So having a reference point is very important. So at its most simple level, we do talk about Gamma as an AI presentation tool, or even like AI for PowerPoint. People can automatically get it, right? Like anybody at this point has seen a PowerPoint or Google slide, or Canva slides if you're the younger generation. I hear they're using Canva more. So you have like that reference point. And so AI for this, right? So we do have to use that because people are searching for it. They're Googling it. The next altitude that I talk about all the time is AI design partner, right? That's kind of the next level. And that's where that's how we really want people to think about Gamma and what you can unlock with Gamma, right? So most of us have to create presentations for work, but we're not designers. We're not content strategists, we're not experts in that. And so that's the reason why people hate creating a lot of decks. And so if you think of it as your design partner for visual communication, then you can unlock a lot more of the powerful aspects of Gamma, right? With that mental reframe, using Agent, right? As your thought partner on, building a better deck for you. And then there is the visual storytelling platform. And so we also talk about Gamma as a visual storytelling platform. And, when we talk a lot internally about that, on the one hand, you can say, what does that mean? Like, what is a visual storytelling platform, right? You moved away from that reference point of AI PowerPoint, right? That's very clear. But that's the future that we're working towards, right? We're working towards a future in which this is a new age. You don't need to use the old tools before. What are you trying to accomplish, right? You're trying to accomplish a goal. You're trying to win a deal. You're trying to launch a business. You're trying to educate. You have a goal to accomplish. And in order to do that, you need to be able to tell that story, and you need to be able to tell it convincingly. And so that is the era in which I hope people start saying, send me a Gamma. I'm starting to see it a little bit now, right? But send me a deck, much more common, Once you create a category, once people are saying, send me a Gamma, right? Like they would say, send me a Figma. Then for me, that's the signal that that there's broad understanding of that category we're creating. But the intermediate stage is hard, right? You have to talk about the product in the ways that you have to balance talking about the future vision with a way that resonates with the now.
What do we need to expect from Gamma in the future?
I mean, everything, right? I mean, this is a very ambitious team, right? We believe a lot in the power of AI. We're AI optimists. We're optimists that AI can really enhance humans and will never replace humans, right? And so that humans are always going to be at the core, and they're always going to be the source of creativity, but that AI can automate, aspects of your job that you're not good at, or that you don't want to spend time on, so you can spend more time on what you're focusing on. And so, that's our end goal here. Our vision is to create tools for imagination right now that looks like helping people to unlock stories that are within them that they want to tell with the world. In the future, that might continue to expand, but that's the vision that we're working towards, and that's what really motivates us every day.
We are updating Gamma course on Udemy right now. So what are your maybe top 5 places where usually customers stuck, or that they started creating, they stuck, and you understand how to help them unstuck? So try to help these guys to make their decks more perfect, more interesting, more selling. Depends on the goal.
Okay, all right. So this can get pretty nitty gritty into Gamma, but when you start with Gamma, you have multiple ways to get started. You can import a document. You can start with a prompt, you just from scratch, or you can remix something that you already had. So bring in an existing deck and recreate it. So I think, personally, there's 3 entry points. You can start wherever. People tend to get stuck when you get to the next screen and you have some tools to control, right? So let's say you imported a doc. The next stage that you're going to see in Gamma is going to be like, okay, I took your doc and here's an outline for it. Look at the left menu, because there's all these things, and we try to, it's kind of hard to find that balance between like being able to give people some tools for control of different levels without being overwhelming and creating this interface that is incredibly complex to use. And so that's something we think about all the time. But we've been really thoughtful about what the controls are that we have included. And so text preservation, that is something that was a real pain point for folks. Some people want to put in a doc and have the presentation contain the exact same text. Other people want to put in a doc and they actually want it to be turned into a summary, right? And so there's text preservation levels. You can summarize, you can condense, or you can preserve, right? So if the tools that we have on the side of Gamma are really designed for you to be able to do the main things that we hear from people that they want some level of control over. So there's that. There's also image models, right? Do you want to have AI generated images? Do you want placeholders for images? Do you want no images? And so the tools that are on the side when you get to that outline stage before you hit the button to generate the deck, I would say spend a little bit more time there. And there's definitely at least, I know you said 5 things, so there's definitely at least 5 things right there that's going to help folks. I think, again, going back to being lazy, you're probably not going to get a result you're satisfied with if you just say like, make me a deck for my board. It's going to generate something for you because it's trying to do the task. But you need to take about 5 minutes to get your prompting right, get the controls right on the side on our outline screen, and then you're going to start with a draft that's probably 95% of the way there as opposed to 80% of the way there that you want to start with.
Kristen, it was really amazing to have you here in the studio. A lot of fruitful insights. Guys, don't forget to put a like to this video, subscribe to YouTube channel if you are not subscribed yet. You can go to the top Gamma courses on Udemy category and find our as number 1. I'm really happy that we had this great guest today with us. Don't forget to subscribe and see you in the next editions of the GenAI Revolution.